Bronco Sport for you. I realize it's not the typical luxury or performance vehicle. This is pretty interesting. And a couple announcements to start off with. First of all, we've got Forrest Jones of Forrest Auto Reviews, who's manning the camera as a guest cameraman. Thank you so much, Forrest, for jumping in. You guys have to follow him on TikTok. It's just at Forrest Auto Reviews on TikTok. He puts up some seriously fun videos. I just have a blast every time I watch the videos every day. So you guys need to follow him at Forrest Auto Reviews, and go ahead and subscribe to his channel on YouTube, Forrest Auto Reviews, same thing there. And
thanks, Miles.
Yeah, of course, dude. Forrest is a buddy, and I'm so stoked. He's like offered to help out with this. And there's a bit of an echo here. We're in a new spot. Hopefully that's all good. And I want to give a quick shout out to some new YouTube members and Patreon members. We have Jean-Shen Sim, I really hope I pronounced your name right, and Caitlin Donnell, our two new YouTube members. Thank you guys so much for your support of the channel and the work that we're doing here at Miles Per Hour. And I also want to thank Alphonse Mutebi, who is a new Patreon supporter at the co-driver level. Thank you so much, Alphonse. Thank you guys so much for your support. Speaking of support, today's a big day. We've got a sponsor for a live Q&A. This is really exciting stuff, guys. And I really want you to check out this site. It's called findthebestcarprice.com, and it's as simple as the name sounds. I've used this site, actually I'm using it right now to help my mom shop for an Audi Q7, and it's so simple because one, it gives you back the power as the consumer because it'll pit dealerships against one another to buy for your business. So instead of you going, this dealership, I gotta go compete with that one, it's like they all are competing for your business. So I really like the site, and I wouldn't have offered to have them as part of the video unless I thought it was a really good site. So please go ahead and check it out. The link is in my description, and do that hopefully after the live Q&A, not right now. But go check it out because it's a really cool site, and thank them so much for sponsoring this video. All right, Forrest, you've been so patient. Let's talk about the Bronco. What is our first question? First of all, do we have any people are chiming on YouTube? Any questions on there first?
Let's see here.
We're gonna be switching up. We'll do the YouTube. I want to honor the folks who are tuned in live on YouTube. So I'm gonna answer your questions as they come in. Otherwise, we'll get to the questions that are. All right. So Forrest, is some other questions prepared for us?
So, let's see. Is the Badlands trim level? Is that the one that has the rear locking differential by Blake?
Okay, Blake asks if the Badlands trim is the only one that has the rear locking differential, and that's a great question because there are so many trims of the Bronco Sport. And as I'm talking through this, you can show the exterior just so that people aren't bored with me just standing here talking to them. And it's such a great question because, like I said, there's so many trims of the Bronco, but only, and to Blake's point, only the Badlands trim and the first edition, but the first edition sold out. Only the Badlands trim has the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo engine with 245 horsepower. And it's the only one with the rear locking differential. All of them are going to be 4x4s. They'll all have all-wheel drive, but only the Badlands trim has that locking differential. Only that one has the additional inch of ground clearance, and only that one has the tougher shocks. So that means that this Outer Banks trim and everything even below it it's a cool badge, right? I think the badge is rad.
I like how it has each trim has its own badge.
Yeah, exactly. I love that they distinctly branded each different Ford Bronco Sport. That's a great point. But yes, so this one is going to have the 1.5 liter turbo 3-cylinder that makes 181 horsepower and 190 pound-feet of torque, and it doesn't get the rear locking differential. So that's a great question, Blake, and it is an important distinction. Forrest had the Bronco Sport, and you had what, the Big Bend?
I had the Big Bend, and it was meh.
It was meh. It was sort of underwhelming, right?
Outer Banks is at least the way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're gonna mod out your base trim level, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, but
what did you think of the engine? Was the 3-cylinder okay?
The engine's okay.
Yeah.
It's better than I thought.
Okay.
I will say that.
Yeah. Was the power felt like enough?
The power felt like enough for this car. For most people that will be driving it, it'll be plenty.
Okay.
I'm sure the 2-liter, I haven't driven it yet.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But what do you think about it?
After driving, the 2-liter spoiled me first because I drove that on the first edition first, and it was fast, 245 horsepower and something this size and 275 pound-feet of torque. It was genuinely quick, and I felt man, off-road, just the power that this has is going to get it over obstacles so much easier. Then, of course, you have the locking differential and the extra inch of ground clearance, and those things really, I think, help. if you're gonna be off-roading this thing on a like more than just like a dirt trail or something, you have to, I think, go with the Badlands. It's the honest truth. All right, what is the next question we've
All right,
got?
so next question. Is it clean or rusty on the underside by Cameron?
Oh my gosh, yeah, already getting to. So Cameron asked this question. He said, in another question, I only consolidated into one. He was like, I've heard that some of these are getting rusty that quick. So I'm just gonna let me check for you, Cameron. It looks clean to me. If we can see, I know it's so hard, but
That's really hard.
yeah, it looks clean to me, Cameron.
Push up?
Oh yeah, I'm just doing push-ups here. Push-ups next to the Outer Banks.
Do one for the people.
One for the people. Push-ups next to the Outer Banks. No, it is clean under there, but yeah, I mean, I guess on forums or stuff, people are seeing how some of these have rust under them, and fortunately, this one does not. So,
Cool.
yeah.
So the Larson family actually sent in a question.
Okay.
It says, do you think this will basically hold its value as much as like the original Bronco? How do you think like reliability is on this?
Okay. So good questions from the Larson family. So important to distinguish that this is a sub model for the Bronco. So the like full-on Bronco, just distinctly Bronco badged model is coming. When is it? It's like this summer, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So it's coming this summer.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been waiting for that forever. I
Dude,
want to
it's
drive
like
it so much.
It's like a unicorn, like this mythical being
I know, right?
that exists, but you've never really seen one.
Yeah, and I feel like the longer that this has been out and the like regular Bronco hasn't, people are like, is this the Bronco? Like they're just like very confused at this point. So important to note that this is not the Bronco. This is the Bronco Sport. It's a submodel, effectively based on the Ford Escape, but with more off-road cred. All of them have a 4x4 system. However, the next question that you ask about, reliability and things like that, I have read some things where they're having some issues with the 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbo. This one hasn't posed any problems yet, so I don't know. It's still so early on that I can't say how reliability is going to be for this. But this is a press vehicle, and that means that it gets pretty abused by us journalists just trying to test out all the features and stuff.
Yeah.
And so far, the interior still looks great, and the powertrain it's working well.
Cool.
Yep.
I have a quick question.
Okay, Forrest, I want to answer your
So,
question.
do you think it was smart for them to release this Bronco before the regular Bronco?
That's a great question. I'm gonna pivot back at you in just a sec, but I'll give my thoughts and then I want to hear your thoughts.
Sure.
So I think from a sales standpoint, I think they had to do this because I think they needed people to go who were so excited about Bronco. They needed to sort of siphon off some of that excitement towards a model that is one, more affordable, and two, going to be more broadly available. So I think from a sales standpoint, they had to do it. As an enthusiast, I so would have wanted the regular Bronco first. And then you're like, okay, if you can't afford the Bronco, here's this other model that it's more affordable, but has some of the the cool stuff on it. Like, I mean, the details on this thing are really awesome. Forrest did a video on TikTok about all the little Easter eggs and stuff, and there are so many of them. So Ford cared about this vehicle, and I think Blake even asked a question: Did they blow their wad effectively, going creative and spending all this R&D money on this versus the Escape? And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I definitely feel like they went to a great degree to make this Bronco Sport cool. Whether it's super capable off-road, the Badlands one I think is these lesser models to a lesser degree. Okay, Forrest, I want to hear though from you. What do you think? Do you think they should have done full Bronco first and then this?
I think I understand why they did this. I think it is interesting because I had a lot of people that think that this is the regular Bronco, and now they have this idea in their heads that Ford, quote unquote, ruined the Bronco.
Right.
And but they don't know that there's another completely different vehicle coming out.
Yeah.
So I wish, other than Bronco Sport, I think they should have said Bronco something else. 'Cause
Yeah.
Sport sounds more like a trim level.
Sure. That's true.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
This
This
I
is why
kind
I'm not
of
in marketing, I guess.
Well, yeah, no, that's why we just review what they did. But no, I think that they potentially, to your point, kind of shot themselves in the foot in it not being so clear enough to people. Because you and I both tell people all the time, they're like, no, this is a different model, it's a lesser model, it's not the full Bronco, that one's coming. But still people don't, as a general audience, get that necessarily. So I get your point. Other questions coming in?
Yes. So.
Meanwhile, let me start it up and rev it a couple times just so you can hear that.
Sure. Well, while you're revving it, Ed Starr, who said,
"Oh, Ed's the man."
He loves the Outer Banks trim, but he says you got to have the 2-liter engine from the Badlands. Is the 2-liter available in the Outer Banks?
No.
No?
Ed, it is not. You cannot get the 2-liter in the Outer Banks. You can only get the 2-liter Turbo 4 in the Badlands trim. And I agree with you, Ed. I think this is from a stylistic and creature comfort. Like, these are super nice leather seats and all that.
Yeah, what they're like blue, right?
Yeah, this called it Navy Pier. And so it's got like this almost like sweatshirt material on the bolsters, and then the leather and perforation. They're really nice seats, and the trim is so good. This needs that extra inch of ground clearance. It needs locking diff, and it needs the 2-liter 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, let's see what this is working with.
okay.
All right, I'll go. Should I go back here?
Yeah. What's crazy? Come up close. You need to hear the blow off from the turbo.
Can you hear it?
Yeah,
Okay.
distinctly.
Let's see.
We can pop this.
Let's pop this hood. See if we can hear some turbo noise. Okay.
It's just like,
I didn't shut it.
oh, I'll do this. You can distinctly hear that, right?
Oh, I mean, I can, but
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are watching. Can y'all hear that turbo noise?
The skew at the very end.
Paul S said wow, so I'm guessing maybe.
Okay, so hopefully, but
Yes,
oh, and here's,
Luke 06 said that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can hear it.
okay, that. So I mean, it's not about the exhaust note in this one. It's about the turbo sound. That's cool. So this is the 1.5 liter EcoBoost 3-cylinder, super compact engine. You can clearly see they made this engine big enough for the 2-liter 4-cylinder, which is still not a big engine, but
All this room.
yeah. But I mean, hey, if you're thinking about if you're having to service this vehicle at some point, it's so nice having all the room around it. You can access everything super easily. But hopefully, it won't need service anytime soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Dude, I'm not getting it either.
Dude, yeah, I couldn't shut it.
Okay, we're gonna try again. I don't want to push on it. Try one more time. From a higher left. Any other questions?
Maybe you have to painfully slam it, which is the
I
worst.
hope not. Oh, I did it. Cool. Just higher.
That wasn't as bad.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yes, so let me see here.
Meanwhile, I can show you the back seats.
Sure. Tuxedo Black Cat asked, is it easy to drive? Just like a normal, easy to drive car.
Yes. Yeah. No, good question, Tuxedo Black Cat. It is very easy to drive. Pardon me. One distinction between, again, the 2-liter and the 1.5 is just that the 1.5 you'll have to adapt to. There's a bit more, I feel like, defined turbo lag and delay of power when you're getting onto it. So you'll have to give it more throttle than you would otherwise have to in the 2-liter. But it is very, very modular, super easy to drive, and you'll adapt to that adjustment really quickly.
So while we're on that question,
Yeah.
Ivan Espinoza asked,
Okay.
how bad is the turbo lag? But to make it helpful, scale of 1 to 10.
Huh, okay.
How bad is the turbo lag?
Okay, so the turbo lag is scale of 1 to 10. So, okay, here's the problem.
10 being like old school JDM.
Okay, that's the scale. Thank you for that help. I'm gonna say, can't go even 5. It's a 6. Okay.
Oh.
So it's not the worst thing I've ever felt, and it's not the best. Because modern vehicles, I feel like they've worked on turbochargers so much that they're just so much faster. That the delay is really mitigated. And granted, there are a lot of them that are twin turbo systems, so you got a smaller turbo and a larger turbo. The smaller turbo is spooling up faster than the larger turbo, so it kind of it's a handoff. This is only a single turbo, so keep that in mind, and that's why there's some of a delay. But there is a noticeable delay, at least more so on the 1.5 than the 2-liter that I drove a couple weeks ago.
I'd have to agree.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna hop in the back and show you kind of the situation. So
How's that room?
that's my driving position at 6 feet tall, and I've got a little bit of knee room, but the seats don't slide back. I'm confused here. Yeah, so this is the knee room situation. It is a small little SUV, but I do have some knee room, And just importantly, about the headrest, I've got headroom.
Here, hold on. I'm gonna go the other side.
Okay, good.
There we go.
This seat is all the way back for some reason. I can move it for you. And Forrest, what is this stuff called?
Molly straps.
Molly straps. I learned something new today.
Yeah.
I didn't know what those were called. I knew they were
Straps.
used in like military on like bags and things like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen them here, but those are called Molly straps. Yeah, so I've got headroom, and headroom is not something I always have, especially in small SUVs in the back seats. And it makes this feeling of space so much more. And
Yeah.
it was why it was so smart for them to do this safari style roof where they bubble up
Oh, like
the
I think
second
you can
half
see
of
it.
the roof.
Like this right here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that gives you a lot more headroom, right?
for sure. Yeah. So yeah, you've got some space back here. It's not overly generous, but the foot pockets are really large, so your feet can slide under really easily, and that decreases the knee angle, makes it feel more spacious. You've got a center console thing with cup holders, and you've got an AC socket in the Badlands trim. So if you got to plug in like
Oh, nice.
I don't know, a water heater or something, then you can do that back there. And you've got this little cubby here. I like this cubby. You can stick in like a tablet or something, and it's pretty deep. You can even maybe a small laptop, like a MacBook Air or something, and it's hard padded, so it's not going to bend or get damaged easily in here, and that's super cool. I also like this. Look at the trim on the inside. It's like a hatched Y pattern. It's pretty neat.
It's very alien for this Area 51.
Yeah, right.
Color.
Do you feel like, I mean, you've been in a Lamborghini, do you feel like this same trim, have you seen that in like a Lamborghini vehicle? I thought I had.
That trim?
Yeah, this symbol or this design.
It looks familiar, like on the carbon or something.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know.
Door trim or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen that on there. It's weird.
What is that on the side of the seat?
On the side of the seat, good call, this is your smartphone pocket. So as a rear seat passenger, it's so nice to just have a stash spot. And it also means that if you've got something plugged in, unfortunately you don't have the USB ports back here, but you do have some in the center console. So you could just, what?
I was gonna say that's so weird that there's no USB because on the Big Bend, which is lower than this, you have USB and USB-C in the back. How weird.
That's very strange. I know you've got USB and USB-C in the front, and then I thought it was in the center. Yeah, you've got a USB and USB-C. Don't look at this ugly center console.
Okay,
I
I won't look.
I put a bunch of trash and stuff in there. I had my breakfast on the way here. So you do have a USB-C and USB-C, or USB and USB-C, but they're in the center console, so you got to run those cords. But it's a short distance, because then you're just right in this pocket right here, and then if you need to go further, it's right there.
Sure. So we have a few more questions here.
Okay.
Let me pull them up real quick. Well, first of all, Lomit Grajeta. I probably butchered that. I'm so sorry. But they just want to know how you are, Miles. How are you?
Oh, love it. Thank you so much for the question. I'm doing very well. I'm really having fun this morning because I get to hang out with my buddy Forrest, and it doesn't always get to happen. Forrest is a busy guy. I'm a busy guy, and but it's so cool that I get to hang out with him, and he's a fun camera guy for sure.
All right, so we got more questions coming in, dude. Okay, so let's see. Kendall wants to know if the Ford chimes are still the same. The do-do-do.
Oh, okay. So
The
let's
standard
turn
Ford
it
chime.
off and turn it back on, and see what, or let's turn it off and see what chimes they give us. So there's that chime. That sounds Ford. I've definitely heard that in Fords. Okay. Now let's check rear seat for occupants. No one. There's no one back there.
Oh. Classic.
Yeah, that is also very much Ford.
That's
I
a
feel like I've heard that in a
classic Ford.
Mustang.
Dude, that's a classic Ford chime.
Yeah.
I had that on my. I used to have the Fiesta.
You had a
I
Fiesta?
had a little Ford Fiesta, and
Did you get the ST?
No.
Oh man.
It was just an SE, which is meh. But it had launch control. I swear. I'm not even joking.
That's crazy.
Isn't that weird?
When did you get rid of that Fiesta?
Like a year ago.
Okay, before you moved out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, same chime. So, all right, more questions here.
Okay. And then we'll do a short little drive.
Cool. So, one is another one from the Larson family. It says
Okay.
off-roading capability? Question mark. Suspension? Question mark.
Yeah. So I answered that a little bit earlier in the video where I said that. Well, I didn't mention this, and I think someone asked in the questions. I'm so sorry, I can't remember who asked the question about ground clearance in this. 7.8 inches for this model. You get an extra inch for the Badlands trim. So that's the ground clearance is so much of the equation. It's ground clearance, and then it's power, and then it's it's traction and all that beyond that. So this is not on a set of like crazy all-terrain tires. They're on Michelin Primacy. These are all-season tires. You know, this is AS right there, all season.
Since we're here, we got some suspension action.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and so yeah, these are not the more aggressive shock setup that you get on the Badlands.
Can't see much.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be very, let's say, lightly capable. What kind of roads do you think, Forrest, that you would take this on? It's sort of like if you need to get to a bike trail that you want to ride on, you know?
If you like live in the country,
Okay.
or something like a more rural area,
Yeah.
and you don't have to take large obstacles to get home,
Yeah.
and it's like a little bit more gravelly, maybe a little bit more mud, this could easily handle that stuff.
Yeah.
But once you get to a point of like, I don't know, once you get to a point where
Hills with-
ground clearance is an issue, yeah.
Right, with ruts and things, anything where you're going to have to clear obstacles,
Yeah.
you're going to need something with more ground clearance and probably potentially a locking differential. So that's when the Badlands kind of jumps in. And if it's really heavy duty, you're going to need something with significantly more ground clearance. You're going to need something with like 9 inches or more. Even like the Super Outbacks, right? They're like 8.8 inches.
Yeah, and all of them come standard with that. Ground clearance.
Yeah, and that's pretty impressive. Also, I didn't mention the Badlands also has torque vectoring. So you've got that rear locking differential and torque vectoring. So it's like if one wheel is spinning, it will be like, well, we're done sending power to that wheel. Let's just send it to the wheel that has power.
So we've got this question a few times.
Yeah.
Cargo area. Lots of people want to see the cargo
Okay,
area.
let's do that. We'll show that, and then we'll head out for a drive. So first of all, this is cool. So you've got these buttons here, and you can just open the rear glass. If it's like quick access to something, you're on the beach and you're like, oh, I needed a towel. I'm just gonna grab that instead of having to open up the whole tailgate.
Did you
And
see that?
well,
Bronco?
this is one of the, I didn't know about this one that you showed me.
I can't turn it upside down.
It's hard to see. Okay,
It's
so
very hard to
yeah,
see.
we'd have to go from the inside. But there's a little Bronco, and it's got a surfboard coming out the back.
Let's see if we can do this.
That's another.
Are you-
Okay, so let me.
This is
Dude,
probably
I
not
really
gonna
don't
work.
want you to hurt your arm. So let's see. Can
This
we
isn't
get
gonna work.
No,
No,
it's
it's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work.
There's
I
a-
mean, we tried though.
There's an Easter egg up there.
Okay, so there's a little Bronco. It's got a surfboard coming out. So that is another use case for this. It's like if you've got a long item that's going to hang out the back, you're going to want to put a flag on it, so you're legally compliant. But yeah, you can have items come out the back through the glass instead of having the whole tailgate open and have to deal with that whole mess with strapping things down.
Yeah.
So that's a really cool feature, and it's on all the Broncos, all the Bronco sports. And then of course you can open the whole tailgate by pressing the other button.
Okay.
And this is your cargo area. So at least on the Outer Banks, did your Big Bend have this textured?
It did.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can clean this out pretty easily.
Yeah. So this is rad. It's like a little bit grippier than your average like carpet or something like that. And then to Forest Point, you can clean it off really easily if you've got like sand or things like that. You've got a spare tire, not a full size spare. Little donut, but it's something. It's better than being stranded.
Can't you actually get this with like steelies like that?
You can, right?
Yeah.
On the
Cool.
like the base board or whatever.
That's so cool.
It is cool. I definitely think Steelies are. I think Blake said this a while ago when I were looking at the Defender. He was like, "Is the Defender and the Bronco Sport kind of bringing Steelies back?" I think perhaps to the mass market they are, and it's so cool. I love steel wheels.
I think it's so cool.
I want
I
steel
love
wheels on my
steel wheels.
Land Cruiser so bad, but I can't find good ones. Okay, and then you can fold these seats down, and you can just press the buttons from here, which is cool. If you get the seatbelts off, and then it really opens up your cargo space.
Back seats don't recline, do they?
They do not.
Do not recline.
Yeah, so no reclining and no sliding, which is odd because the Ford Escape's back seats do slide. So funny.
So we have another question from, I believe it's Ivan Espinoza. What's the closest competition in your opinion?
Honestly, I think this is going to compete right with the Subaru Forester.
Yeah.
The Forester and this are going to go head to head. The Forester has slightly more ground clearance than this as standard, and it does have torque vectoring on all of the line. So this, I don't think anything less than the Badlands has torque vectoring. But I think they compete pretty well. I think it's going to come down to like styling and just like brand loyalty, because I think Subaru owners and Subaru enthusiasts are very jazzed up about their vehicles. And Ford is sort of a more broad reaching. They're not all off-road capable vehicles. So it's more just like Are you excited about the Bronco name applied to a little lesser capable vehicle? That's going to kind of be the competitor for me.
I have a question.
Okay.
What is that? Your hand was just on it.
Oh. What is what?
What is this?
The bottle opener? The bottle opener that they put in this vehicle and in the Ford F-150.
Dude.
Is there in something else? But it's like, it's so, look, this like little piece here that is just so smart, right?
So easy.
Just so easy.
It should be a standard feature.
I agree. Like on all
cars.
On all cars. Just having a bottle opener.
For soda, right?
Yes, of course, for soda
soda.
pop. Yeah, for soda, right? Yeah, just having that like is so nice. I keep closing this on the seatbelt. Any other questions? If not, we're gonna go.
Yeah, let's double check here. All right, guys.
Closing on the seatbelt.
So we already checked out the cargo. Oh, do you have any cubic feet on how big the cargo area is, or any sort of reference, like maybe if you hopped back there,
Yeah.
or anything to show?
Yeah. So
for the people.
I think hopping back for the people is a great reference point. So I do not have the cubic feet memorized off the top of my head,
Okay,
but
so no cubic feet.
I do. Yeah.
Do you want me to Google it?
You could if you want to, but oh, you showed me this other really cool Easter egg. I like that the hangers here are actually lassos.
Oh yeah.
So clever.
I forgot about that.
And then I knew about this one, the Bronco that's in the lights. That's cool. You have a DC socket back here. Yeah, so this is me in the cargo area, and I fit pretty comfortably. Again, thank you for this safari style roof. You fit pretty easily back here. But I don't know, Forrest is gonna look up the cubic footage.
Yes, I'm looking. Oh wow, this is a lot. Okay. So I guess the cubic feet. Okay, so
It's comfy back here. Just hang out.
here we go. Cubic feet. Looking it up right now. You guys can see I'm looking it up. Motor trim. Let's see what passenger space.
Before we answer that, what's your guess? How much cubic footage do
I'm
you
gonna say
think?
like 28, 29.
That's a good guess. I was gonna guess, yeah, like 20. Oof, that's pretty big. 24. Say 24.
Okay, we got it. We have the official numbers.
What is it?
So, it is 32 cubic feet with the seats up, 65 cubic feet with the seats down.
That's significant.
a lot.
32 cubic feet behind
Honestly,
the
yeah, I think it's a lot to do with that roof because
Yeah.
you could stack up pretty high if you needed
For
to.
sure. No, that's great.
It's very boxy, so that helps.
So we were both wrong, but you were closer to being right. All right, let's go take it for a little spin. Did I actually close it? I did. I just. All right, let's go take it for a quick spin. Hop in the passenger seat, and
All right, so the Larson family has a question.
okay.
We'll probably answer more of this obviously as we're driving, but they want to know what engine do you think is more appropriate for this vehicle?
Appropriate's a great word because I think that for the lesser trims, the 1.5 almost feels appropriate, but I do believe that if you want to buy the Bronco Sport and actually go do some off-roading, then the 1.5 isn't appropriate. I don't think it's the right engine for this vehicle. But if you're not going to do that, you just want the style, which is a thing. Seatbelt up, Forrest.
I'm sorry.
Safety first, man.
You're correct.
Then I think, yeah, I think the base engine's fine if you're just gonna kind of be cruising. So we'll just be cruising along smoothly. We've got these GOAT modes, go over any terrain modes here, and so
You're the goat, Miles.
I'm the go. Oh, Forrest, so kind of you to say. I disagree.
Oh,
So yeah,
here, right?
so you get some cool graphics when you go through those modes. Eco, you heard this start-stop system going, and then sport, and then there's a slippery mode. Won't need that. We're in Southern California, although it was kind of misting this morning.
It was.
And then we got sand. I like the graphics there. They're cool.
Very cool.
So we'll just be in normal mode for right now, and we'll cruise on out of here.
So that answers someone's question is
Okay.
what does the blinker sound like? So could you do the blinker
Okay.
one more time?
It's a pretty pleasant blinker, right? Like,
Not bad.
what were you gonna say?
It's just loud enough to where you won't forget that it's on.
Yeah.
I do that a lot in some of
Yeah.
these cars.
Yeah, you're just like cruising. Like, why is everyone looking at me weird? Oh, my blinkers.
Dude, I do like how you can see like those hood bulges.
Yes, that is cool.
They're not that noticeable from the outside, but from the inside.
And visibility is pretty good in here. I think, again, it's just like having the tall glass really helps.
Yeah, tall glass.
And the moonroof is good size. We're doing 32. How quiet would we say it is in here? Pretty quiet.
It's pretty quiet.
But we're on a very smooth road.
We are. This is some nice pavement here.
Yeah. I wish we had a little bit of a rougher road ahead of us, because my one critique from a ride standpoint is this suspension was a bit firm, in my opinion. Did you agree in your driving, or would you say it was kind of fine?
Yeah. I mean, it was a little on the firm side. I know. I think for the price, it's decent.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's, and this probably hurt me. I came out of like a $130,000 Porsche, and I was like, air suspension. I'm like, oh, this ride's so rough.
Gosh, Miles.
Yeah, of course not.
So bougie.
Yeah, it's seriously though. All right, so I'm just gonna put my foot down for a sec.
Whoa, dude. Okay, I was actually gonna take it back.
Yeah, it was a little peppy. That was nice. So mid-range power is decent. And what do we think of the sound that it made? I'm gonna go into sport mode next, and I will make a U-turn because I liked the smooth. I always do this. I go the opposite direction because it's set up where like inverse.
Mm-hmm.
You go right, it goes left on the drive modes. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, it's great. All right, ready?
Punch it. You can really hear the air being sucked in.
You can
right?
hear the air being sucked in.
Yeah.
This is decent. This is
Yeah.
plenty of power for
That
like
was-
the average person.
That was fine. Yeah, like I said, I really think this engine is perfectly appropriate if you are moseying around town or doing it. Getting up to speed on the highway, no issues with that. It's really just going to be off-road when you're going to really need a little more low-end torque. That I think that 2-liter EcoBoost is just, it's going to be the one.
So, I have a question. Just because I'm curious
Mhm.
from like a passenger standpoint how bad the turbo lag is. So
Okay.
I want to see how long it takes.
When
for
I hit my foot and how long it takes
so like
for it to go.
floor it, and then
Okay.
how long it takes to kick in.
Okay, that's good. Okay.
There's the turbo.
Yeah, seriously, like it was a full 1.5 to 2 seconds.
That was a lot of seconds.
Yeah, so that's why it's a 6 for me. You know, that's why it's a 6 on a scale of 10, and 10 not being great.
Yeah.
But yeah, very easy to drive to was it the Larson's Family Point? Did they ask about the driving? But yeah, it's very easy to drive, and I love visibility in cars. Yes, you can have all the safety systems and all that, and this does come with a bunch of safety features as standard, like blind spot monitoring, but it's just nice being able to actually see with your own eyes, and that's what this vehicle does.
So I have another question here. Aaron Rykura?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Did I pronounce that right?
Raichura?
Rykura?
Aaron, you're gonna have to correct me, but he's a Patreon member, as is Ed, and I thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
What's up, Aaron?
He wants to know
Mm-hmm.
Bronco Sport or Defender?
Oh man, it's gonna be Defender, right?
For sure. But,
Yeah.
But they also don't
They're
really
not
compete.
really the same segment. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Defender is gonna start at like 20 grand more than this vehicle.
Yeah.
So
And that's only for the two-door.
yeah, right. So they're not really the same segment, but I mean, also just I love the Defender's approach. Like they really did a great job of like being modern, but also totally embracing all the good stuff about the classic Defender.
Oh yeah.
I'm a
the jump
fan.
seat.
Yes.
Jump seat's pretty cool.
Yes. No, that vehicle's awesome. But they both have Safari style roofs, which is
Yeah.
cool. That one actually has a window in it, the Defender.
Oh, the Defender.
Yeah.
So Blake Thomas wants to know: do you think that this is worth $36,000?
Yeah, so that's the as tested price of this one. I'm trying to think what else I would get in place of this for that kind of money. Here's the thing. You have to really be all about the style, and this is a cool looking vehicle, has some pretty cool creature comforts, and these seats are really comfortable. And the engine, I think the engine is what makes me say perhaps not. I would rather spend the extra $4 grand and get the Badlands with that 2-liter 4-cylinder. Then it would be worth it. I don't think.
Oh, it's only $4 grand more for the Badlands.
I'm pretty sure it starts at like 40 for the Badlands.
Yeah, dude, I do that.
Yeah. So I would rather spend that extra money, get all the nice stuff that comes with the Badlands plus that engine. That would be worth it to me. I would not necessarily seek out the Outer Banks because you can't get the 2-liter.
So let me see here.
It doesn't sound, you know, my thing is like the 3-cylinder engines can sound really like raspy, not in a cool way, just in like a, oh, that sounds like it's going to break. This engine doesn't sound like that. It sounds pretty refined.
So the Larson family wants to know the visibility of the gauges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here.
So here's kind of what you're looking at. And I do have a POV drive of the first edition out. So if you want to see kind of driver's eye on that, that's what that looks like.
I mean, dude, it picks up speed pretty well, though.
Yeah, it does.
That's already 40 miles an hour.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Again, if you're not like from a dead getting into the turbo, if you're already in it a little bit, then it'll pick up quicker.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably going to do it for this live Q&A. First of all, thank you so much, Forrest, for manning the camera and being so personable and asking great questions. I super appreciate it. It's just fun to hang out.
Good to see you.
Yeah. And then again, guys, go check out findthebestcarprice.com. They're linked in my description. Just go hunt around, see how the site works. It's really very cool how they pit dealers against one another. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the Ford Bronco Sport. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.
They're gonna laugh at me. How do I end this?
It's like somewhere on the right-hand side of the screen, I think.
Okay, just hit the X.
Yeah.
All right.